But who talks first? Doesn't Mia talk first? Greetings, everyone. Bill Nye here to talk about Nickelodeon's new show, The Astronauts. It premieres Friday, as we like to say. Don't miss it if you can. 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 Central. And these kids, these young people, get blasted into space by accident. Do you need more of me talking and being hilarious? And looks aren't everything. So I'm here with my longtime dear friend, guy I spent a lot of time with, Mike Massimino, who, unlike many of us, has actually flown in space. And Mia, who's one of the stars of the new show, The Astronauts. Greetings, Mia. Greetings, Mike. Uh, uh, that's right. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about it before you left. Yeah, you had to put on a special suit and stuff. Yeah, you had to, yes. So, Mia, you're an actress or actor. Did you ever want to fly in space? You know, we say in science education, we always talk about kids, and when it comes to people, space and dinosaurs, space and dinosaurs. Did you like space when you were younger? So, what do you guys have you flown around in zero G airplane? I haven't seen that much of the show. So, Mike, did you get movement training when you were an astronaut? So, Mia, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go fishing here. I'm gonna go fishing here, Mia. If I said inertia is a property of what would you say? Did you ever watch the old Science Guy show? You can say no. Inertia is a property of matter. That's all. Inertia is a property of matter. That's all. So no matter. Anyway, so when something is more massive than you are, it has more inertia, and this is something that Isaac Newton apparently was the first guy to write it down. Like he figured it out and he wrote it down. He didn't just experience it. And that's what, so that's what part of what makes space so cool. By that you mean, Mike, you get more done more quickly if you just work slowly. Is that what you mean? Yeah. So, what happens on the show? You have to kill us if you tell us. Somehow you all get in the spaceship and it goes off by accident. Spaceship, a rocket, and it goes off by accident.
Yeah, so the astronauts is actually about 5 kids, including myself, who sneak onto a spaceship. This is like a futuristic spaceship, so we kind of sneak on to go see check it out, and we accidentally trigger the launch sequence while taking selfies.
Sure.
And
that I buy. Actually, that part of it I believe. Been around the young people with the selfie thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. It was just all selfies, and then as the show goes on, we have to figure out how to get home. Not only that, but to work together as a team, because we are kids who never really met each other, barely even talked to each other, and so we have to figure out.
How did you all end up in the same rocket?
So we were we're the children of like CEOs. My mom is an astronaut in the show. She's the original part of the original crew of the Odyssey 2, which is the ship we sneak onto. And we basically all meet at the hotel while our parents are at this fancy convention, basically. And we have this great idea, like let's go take pictures, let's go sneak on. And so it happens, and we're stuck there. And so we're trying to figure out how to get home, work together, but also make our way around a malfunctioning AI. But that's all I'm going to give you about that part.
The set I've seen. Yeah.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, sorry. I've seen some of the clips. It's just amazing, the sets and the spacecraft. Bill, you would love it. And when I see it, I was like, I want to go again. So Mia, did you get that? Did you get that sensation being inside of that set and around that spaceship that you want to go for real?
Yeah, the first time we went into that spaceship, it was all 5 of us kids. And for me personally, because I've been in love with space adventure, space anything, being in there, and it's like, they're not like, oh, here's some wood and a couple pieces of glue, just go make a set. It's very detailed. They made everything functioning. They made it just made you feel like you were really in a spaceship. And for me, it was magical. It really was. Like, it feels cheesy to say that, but it was really just like, it took my breath away, honestly. And the more we worked in those sets, the more it started to feel like we were becoming like a crew, like a team. And we as soon as we saw those sets, and even before, we knew that we wanted to make this a great show. We wanted to like have a good time at the same time, but it was also just like super awesome being there.
So, Mike, as an astronaut, you have to work in a team, right? Or there's just nothing but trouble. And then,
it's a team game. Yeah, as we were talking before, about you make a mistake, it affects everyone. So what you do is you really watch out for each other and make sure that you're doing your job as best you can. But really, I think the most important thing about being an astronaut is being a good team member. And that's what it seems like in the show. It depicts you guys become friends, and it's a team effort. And that's the way it is. It's a team game, just like life, I think, in many aspects. But you have to be able to put the good of the team first. You have to take care of each other. You don't point the finger when someone makes a mistake. You cover for each other and help. And you have to, sometimes you get to win together and sometimes you get to lose together too. And those are all important things to learn how to do. But being a team player, I think, is the most important thing about being an astronaut.
Like you might accidentally set off the launch sequence of a rocket, if just hypothetically.
Hey, most astronauts wouldn't
Mike,
complain about somebody doing that. So.
Yeah. So, Mike, what happened in space to you that was a mistake that led to trouble?
Oh, which one do you want to talk about? No, a couple things.
Which one do you want to talk about?
I did was I was repairing the Hubble Space Telescope, and if I didn't do that correctly, Bill probably wouldn't ever talk to me again, or at least he couldn't tell anybody he was talking to me, because the science community have been really mad because the telescope is a very important instrument. But I stripped a screw while I was repairing it and was not able to continue the repair, and we had to come up with and it was such an easy thing to do that we didn't have a backup plan. So I felt terrible about what I did. But the team came through for me. It was mainly the ground control team came up with a solution, and we were able to implement that and continue and successfully complete the day.
Does everybody know what he means when he says stripped a screw? The threads on a screw depend on them aligning with the thing that they're threading into, but you somehow scrape the...
No, I destroyed it.
Except it's in space, Mia, there's no sound. It would just be...
Yeah.
And then it was just slowly
I couldn't hear
floating.
anything, but I could see what I did. Now I destroyed
So how'd you fix it?
The bolt that was coming out. Yeah, and it wasn't going to come out. Well, what happened is it was a handrail that was blocking some other screws that we needed to come out to get to a power supply. And when I stripped the one screw on the handrail, I realized the handrail's not coming off. The screw's not going to come out anymore. The handrail's not going to come off. I won't be able to remove the other screws or replace the power supply. We'll never find out if there's life in the universe, and everyone's going to blame me. That's pretty much the way it was going to go. But what happened was we were able to just rip it off because three of the other bolts, it was hanging loose. There was just one screw left. So NASA came up with the solution to wrap the bottom of it and pull it off, which might seem really simple, but I didn't think of it because when you break things like that in zero gravity, it's going to create debris, which could puncture my suit or go into the telescope and render it useless, sort of. So we had to tape the bottom of the handrail very carefully. But those are things that we experienced. I think you and your team probably, I think I would imagine both in the show, but also in preparing for the show. You were talking about how your teammates work together. You practice your zero gravity stuff in the pool. I would think that you learn to prepare for a show just like you would for a flight in some ways. And you get help from the director on the show, and you also get help from the flight director and the team in space.
Yeah, definitely. We like learned how to. We never met each other before the show, and then we all met, and it was really like we were a team like right off the bat. But then we also had to be a team who pretends not to be a team at the beginning. If that makes any sense.
That's acting. Well, yeah, you were acting for crying out loud. And when you're acting with a group, when you're in an ensemble, it's a team. You want to get the lines and the expressions, and you want to bring an emotion out of the other person. It's a team thing. Team.
Yes. It really is all about teamwork, not only in the show, but like you said, just like being an actor is really all about teamwork. It's about especially when you're with like a group, it's about being able to be there for the other actor and really just like playing off of them and reacting off of them.
So it's just like flying in space, Mike. You should.
It really is, Mike.
Just to stay sharp.
I think it's very similar. I've had I've been to space twice for real, Mia, but I've also been to space once on television on the Big Bang Theory, the TV show on the Big Bang. I go to space as part of as a cameo role. So I've done it both ways, right? And I think that that there's a lot of similarities between flying for real and flying in the TV show, because it's just like and Bill knows this, of course, as well, but just like a space mission, it's a big team effort. You have the astronauts who are like the actors, the astronauts in the show, but you also have lots of people who get your gear ready, who help prepare you. You mentioned the person who helped you with the stunts to learn how to float. We had instructors doing the same thing for us. And so I think there is a lot of similarities between putting on a television program and flying in space. So yeah, it's not that much different, I don't think, as far as the way, except you're hopeful the one on TV, hopefully you're pretty confident it's going to end okay. You're going to go home at the end of the day. With the one in the space travel, it's every once in a while you got to be careful, something will happen. So
yeah.
But I think there's a lot of similarities.
When you watch people in space, they're all, moving around, they're talking to each other. But keep in mind, everything is going 7 miles a second. It's like the speeds involved are enormous, and the energy required to get all the spacecraft and all the nuts and bolts and repair tape and everything going that fast takes a tremendous amount of energy. That's why the rocket fuel goes shooting out of the bottom. It's just hot and fast. It's exciting, but we're going to talk also about what's really going on in real space right now. And Mia, I don't know how old you are. I'm checking you out here on this video call. First of all, Mia, okay. I went to the World's Fair in 1964. I was 9 years old. And it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And they had this booth where you could talk on the phone with somebody else on a video camera. Oh my God. It was like this amazing thing that will happen someday. Well, it took, 60 years for that to come to pass. And here we are just doing it like it's a day at the office, a day on the set, a day at the spaceship. But along that line, you think about the technology involved in both space flight and making a show. It just takes a tremendous number of people, as you guys were saying. Yeah. And when you're on a television set, you guys, and you look around, there's just so many people, what I call the black collar people who wear dark clothes so they don't reflect any of the lights onto the stage, and people work so hard. Anyway, what's going on in space right now? First of all, Mia, I think your whole life there have been people flying on the space station. Yes. Last week was the 20th anniversary of people flying on the space station. And Mike was one of them. That's pretty cool. Yeah. But also, there's a spacecraft on the way to Mars right now, the Perseverance rover. It's going to land there on February 18th. Even with all the stuff that's going on here on Earth, oh my goodness. All the pandemic. Are you guys tested every day, every twice a week or something?
On set, we were tested every 3 days.
Every 3 days. No one got
sick, and no one got sick. We actually were paused in the middle of our production because of the pandemic. We came back 4 months later to a completely different world. Our set was minimized from 200 people to 50, I think, on set. 50 on set.
Still 50 people. That's a lot of people working to one thing, right?
Yeah, it was a lot, but we also had sections and zones for people. But we came back with we had to wear masks. We got tested every 3 days. When the kids were on set, we wore face shields. It was just it was very extreme, it seemed, but it was effective and no one got sick. So
there's a lot of similarities there with getting ready to fly in space. We went into quarantine for a couple of weeks before we would go to space because we didn't want to get sick. And it's similar to that. You're not, who's around you has to get cleared by the doc. You're always getting checked. People are always getting checked, and washing your hands and wearing a mask and all that was what we did. So you got that experience under your belt too. That getting ready to shoot your show was kind of like getting ready to fly in space from that perspective too, making sure you stay healthy.
One of the strange things for me the last few months, I wear a mask whenever I'm outside. I'm in my home office right now, and I wash my hands all the time. But I haven't had a cold. I haven't had to fight off a little cold or sore throat or runny nose for months because I haven't been around anybody. It's a strange thing, this science business. And so there's a rover on the way to Mars that's going to pick up rock samples. When you talk to the right people who are geologists, and Mike, you've been around a lot of geologists, I'm sure. I think, I
Yep.
mean, some of my best friends are geologists, don't get me wrong, but they get a little carried away.
One of mine is.
You know, they think if you have the right rock, you can tell who the president was or something like you can, like they just get a little wound up. But if we can bring these rocks back from Mars, we'll learn a tremendous amount about the history of Mars and compare the history of Mars to the history of the Earth. And, you know, just last week, the OSIRIS-REx spacecraft picked up some of the Bennu asteroid, and it's going to bring it back here 2023. And on its way back, it's going to probably get some good pictures of this asteroid Apophis. And Apophis is named for the Greek god of anxiety, of worry. And, you know, if you like to worry about things, having the Earth get hit with an asteroid would be a drag. Very unlikely, very bad. Low probability, high consequence. And so that's something that I work on all the time at the Planetary Society. Is this thing we call planetary defense, defending the Earth from an asteroid. It's an old science fiction idea, but it's a real idea. And Mike, you were talking about getting your suit punctured, right? I mean, you might think of asteroids on a astronaut's Nickelodeon show as being some big object, but these tiny like particles of sand going 15 kilometers or 7 miles a second will punch a hole in you as well as your suit. So it's really an extraordinary thing, spaceflight. It's cool. So do you still want to be an astronaut, Mia?
I do. I still do. Everything about space, it excites me. Because it's unknown. It just excites me. I like exploring new foods, new things, anything really, and just thinking about how much of it is out there outside of our own solar system and goes on just forever is just super exciting to me. I really cannot find another word to explain it.
Mike, how's the food in space?
I liked it. Not very many people liked it, but I did. And I think just to follow one of the things that Bill said about moving so quickly with the debris, that's why you wear the big bulky suit, 7 layers, including a layer of Kevlar, which is bulletproof material to try to help you. But those little things can get you because you're going so quickly, as Bill said. And the food I liked, but I'm a little bit different. I'm only one of 2 astronauts that I know of that actually gained weight in space. That's how much I liked it. If they weighed me, they weigh in, they take care of all they make sure you're okay, they take your blood pressure and all that, they check you out before you go, and you do the same thing when you land. And I gained a little bit, not much, about a pound or so when I got back. So I liked the food. It was very easy to cook. So that's what I liked about it. You just warm it up, or put some water in there, and I liked it. So I didn't have any trouble with the food. But some of my colleagues were a little bit more finicky about it, but I liked it. But we have good stuff. We had shrimp cocktail and lasagna and tortellini. You get hamburgers and hot dogs and just about anything you can get on Earth.
Just rattling it off. So Mia, on the Astronauts Nickelodeon show, premieres Friday at 7:00 Eastern, 6 Central. What kind of food do you eat astronaut food all the time? Or sometimes? Ever?
When we were eating in the show, we had like Pop-Tarts, I think. We had like Pop-Tarts, and we had like these really thick jelly beans. I don't even know if they were like off-brand jelly beans. And then we had futuristic space food. I'm not entirely sure what was in those packets, and I'm not sure I want to know.
But you did enjoy a few?
I mean, yeah, if it wasn't like stale from being left out at 6 o'clock in the morning. We also, in our ship on the show, we also have like fresh fruit and fresh veggies. We have these things called terrariums, and they're like these massive, like incubator looking things. And they have tomatoes. They're like basically gardens, just in pods. So we have tomatoes, we had peppers, we had like a bunch of different fruits and vegetables, and we had a whole we called them outriggers. We had a whole like place for garden. It was like hydroponics. We had I think we had fruit trees too in there. So we had an array of fresh fruits, but we mostly had popcorn and Pop-Tarts, and that's pretty much it.
Mike, did
So-
you have stuff growing in space?
No, not when I was there. And that food that Mia had on that spaceship sounds better than what we had. Although, like I said, I thought was pretty good.
Don't worry.
But no, we didn't have anything growing. We had limited fresh food. We had a few. We could take a few fresh pieces like oranges and apples, but we had to eat those right away because we didn't have any refrigeration. On the space station, there is a little bit of a refrigeration that you can have some fresh food. There's also a freezer, so you can have some frozen items as well. And now you can grow food in space. They have grown lettuce and they've eaten it, and nothing bad happened after they ate it. So. Yeah, that's we have to learn how to do that, because if we're going to go on these long voyages like the ones depicted in the show and in the future, you're not going to be able to take everything with you. You're going to have to somehow produce it on the way, and so that's why being able to grow food in space is so important. And we've been able to do it the last couple of years on the space station, and we're going to continue learning how to do that.
Yeah.
So, what do you, Mia? What do you hope will happen? People watch the show, they watch you. Do they hope? Do you guys feel that you'll inspire people to want to be astronauts, or when they become taxpayers and voters to support the space program, or is it just? And I say just. Is it just fun? Just fun to watch and be part of?
It's both. It's a family show, and so you can watch it with everybody. You can watch it with your grandparents, your siblings. You can watch it with everybody. And so I really think that kids will take away that it's a family show. Not only that, I hope that kids get inspired really to be an astronaut, or at least to support space exploration and science really, because that's where my that's where my passion is. And I hope that people look to the future really, and it's weird to be setting an expectation for what the future will be, but I really hope that we progress enough that it is that. And I hope that the kids take away from the show that, when you work together, you can do anything. And I hope that it inspires them really.
Wow. That's not bad. Thank you very much, Mia. Everybody watch The Astronauts this weekend, this Friday night. 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on your favorite station, Nickelodeon. And Mike Massimino's flown in space a couple times. He's dressed up in his fabulous suit. Oh, yeah, the Twitch stream. Hey, Mia, what's the Twitch stream? The kids with their Twitch. Your kids, you're crazy.
Twitch. I will explain. We will be on Twitch today. We will be on Twitch today.
So it's Twitch TV. It's Twitch TV / Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah. So we will be on Twitch today. Me and my co-star Bryce Geyser. We will also be with Mike once again, and we will be doing a Twitch stream up on there, and we'll be answering some questions and just having a lot of fun.
It's not bad. So it's pretty cool, you guys. So check out the Twitch stream and check out the station itself. So is there anything else we need to cover? Let's, as we say, let's roll that video. It's the trailer for the show, you guys. Check it out.
Martin? You okay?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal to sneak onto the ship.
Hello, Samantha. Welcome aboard Odyssey 2.
Just chill. We're golden.
Commencing launch sequence.
Dad, we didn't touch anything.
3,
Everybody strap in.
2, 1.
Let's go and see the stars, the Milky Way, or even Mars. Or it could just be ours.
This is not an amusement park.
No kidding. It's way cooler.
Sammy, there's something really weird outside.
Catastrophic failure in 31 minutes.
It's okay. I told you, we're golden.
that. Every time you say that, something very bad happens. I'm loving this kid.
We have to be the very best we can be. Otherwise, we're gonna die up here.
We get to do a bunch of stuff up here that most kids only dream about.
Let's not forget we have 5 kids on that vessel.
Well, they're not kids. They're astronauts.
Astronauts, assemble! Our team. It's what we do.